Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dear students, I would like to welcome you in this online record lectures. In this lecture, we will continue on our course and we will cover chapter 6. Chapter 6 is about building internally consistent compensation systems. So in this chapter, we will study how the organization or the company can build or create internally consistent compensation system. Internal consistency compares the value of each job within the same company against the rest of the jobs found within that company. The order sets of jobs represents the job structure or hierarchy. So companies rely on a simple yet fundamental principle for building internally consistent compensation system. That is, jobs that require higher qualifications, more responsibilities, and more complex job duties should be paid more than jobs that requires lower qualifications, fewer responsibilities, and less complex job duties. So job descriptions are the internal consistency cornerstone. And internal consistency recognizes differences in job characteristics. Compensation experts and HR professionals create internally consistent job structures through two processes. The first is job analysis, followed by job evaluation. Job analysis is almost purely descriptive procedure, while job evaluation reflects value judgment. So effective job analysis identifies and defines job content. Job content describes the duties and tasks as well as such pertinent factors as the skill and effort needed to perform the job adequately. Job evaluation, on the other hand, is a key forecasting internally consistent compensation systems as strategic tools. Compensation professionals use job evaluation to establish pay differentials among employees within a company. Job analysis is a systematic process for gathering, documenting, and analyzing information in order to describe jobs. So job analysis describes content or job duties, workers' requirements or job specifications, and sometimes the job context or working conditions. Job analysis describes, as we said, the job content, which means that actual activities for the employee or the incumbent of the job. Like for a job like secretary or sales representative, one of his duties or activities is to greeting clients, like saying hello, asking the client's name, offering beverages, etc. So job content is actual activities performed. Worker requirements describe minimum qualification and the knowledge, skills, other characteristic abilities for should be for the job incumbent. Working conditions are social context or physical environment. That means working the surrounding or the hazards of the working environment. Worker requirements are knowledge, skills, and abilities like education, experience, license to perform this job, permits, special abilities. So example of worker requirements for human resource manager: he must have knowledge of the recruitment, selection, training, compensation and benefits, labor relations and negotiation. So human resource information system, oral, written comprehension, active listening, critical thinking. So all these are required for this job. Working condition is a social context or physical environment. So social context, like the social context of the job, and also the physical environment. Physical environment vary along dimensions based on level of noise and possible exposure to hazardous factor. So the working condition is the environment that the incumbent or the job holder working within, like the surrounding. Is there is a noise or dirt or anything? Is there like mechanic, and the mechanic in the plant, or also it describes the hazards of the job. Is there any hazards that this incumbent maybe he will face these hazards in doing his perform his duties? Okay, to do the job analysis, the job analysis process has 5 steps. So the job analysis process have 5 main activities. The first one is, first we determine job analysis program. Second, select and train analyst. Third, direct job analyst orientation. The fourth is conduct the study. And the fifth is summarize result, or the final stage is write job descriptions. So we'll talk about these 5 steps and the job analysis process. The first step is to determine job analysis program. So the company must decide between using an established system or developing its own system tailored to specific requirements. To determine this, administrative costs often represent a major consideration in selecting a job analysis method. So the company must decide. Usually the major companies or the big companies, they are developing their own system tailored to their specific requirements. So also in selecting the job analysis method, we have like 4 methods that we can choose from them. The first gathering method is questionnaire. The second is interviews with the incumbent when we study or try to analyze the job. So we are using questionnaire, interviews, or observation method, or participation. Okay, the second step in job analysis process is to select and train analyst. Job analyst, the people who are doing, or the employees who are doing the job analyst, must be able to collect job-related information through various methods, relate to a wide variety of employees. Also, they have to analyze the information and write clearly. This is a requirement for the job analyst. Members need to be taught about the basic assumptions of the model and the procedure they must follow. The training should include discussions on the study objectives, how the information will be used, methodology overviews. Analysts should be trained to minimize the chance that they will conduct ineffective job analysis. So the job analyst, the one who write or analyze or study the job should be trained to do this job. Finally, job analysts must be familiar with the structure of the job data. Job analysis are configured in levels, hierarchy from specific bits of information to progressive broader categories that include the prior specific pieces. So he has to know about the hierarchy and the levels of the company or the organization. The most specific information is job element, and the broadest element is occupation. So the occupation is divided by like duties and tasks, and then element. Okay. The third step in job analysis process is direct job analysis orientation. Before analysts start specific job analysis techniques, they must analyze the context in which employees perform their work to better understand influencing factors. So analysts should obtain and review such internal information as organization charts, because it's very important, the distribution of the work and the number of jobs and the titles of the company, a listing of job titles, classification of each position to be analyzed. Okay. The fourth step in job analysis process is to conduct the study, data collection methods, and source of data. Once analysts have gathered and made sense of these preliminary data, they can begin gathering and recording information for each job in the company. Analysts should carefully choose the method of data collection and the source of data. As we said before, methods, it can be a questionnaire, it could be interview or observation, and etc. A source of data, you can gather data from the job incumbents, like the employee, officers, appointees. Also, you can gather information from the supervisors of these jobs in the company or job analysts. The method used in gathering information should be reliable and valid. Reliable job analyst method means that this method yields consistent result under similar conditions. For example, two independent analysts reach similar conditions about the duties that constitute a job. So the method will be reliable if give the same results. The method valid job analysis method when it's accurately assess each job's duties or content. So if the method accurately assess each job's duties and content, we can call this method valid. So the job analysis method, we make sure that they are valuable, reliable, and valid. The last steps in the job analysis process is to summarize the result and writing the job descriptions. This is the final stage in the job analysis process. Job descriptions summarize the job purpose and list its tasks, duties, and responsibilities, as well as the skills, knowledge, and abilities necessary to perform the job at minimum level. So after we make a job analysis, we will produce the job description. And as we said, job description summarize the job purpose and list of its tasks, duties and responsibility, as well as the skill or requirements for the incumbent from knowledge, skills, abilities. Okay, now we come to writing job description. So to write job description should include job title. So you have to write the job title and the job description, which indicate the name of each job within a company's job structure. So the title of the job should be written in the job description. Also, you should write a job summary, which is statement concisely summarizes the job with 2 or 4 descriptive statements. This section usually indicates if the employee receives supervision and by whom. Also, it should be listed the job duties, what the incumbent should do or required to do, describes the major work activities that should be done from this job, and at last the worker specification or minimum requirements for the employee who is doing this incumbent of this job. So in work specification or job specification, we list the education level, like you should have like a bachelor degree in specialization. Also, we should list the skills needed, the abilities that should be in the incumbent, knowledge and other qualifications individuals must possess to perform the job adequately. So all these things should be listed in the job description. Worker specifications, as we said, the education needed to perform this job or required for incumbent of this job, the skills needed to perform the duties, the abilities, knowledge, other qualification to perform the job. So these are, we call them worker specification or job specification. That is required to the employee who will assign to this job, or the employee to do the required duties and he should have these specification or requirements. Okay, now we finished the job analysis. Now we'll discuss the job evaluation. As we said at the beginning, that the internal consistency, we can attain the internal consistency through 2 processes. The first is job analysis, and we discuss job analysis and the steps. We have 5 steps to write a good job description. Now the second process is the job evaluation. Job evaluation systematically recognizes differences in the relative worth among a set of jobs. So the evaluation is the worth of jobs among the jobs in the company are different. So job evaluation helps to establish pay differential accordingly. Because jobs are different and the responsibility are different, required are different, so the jobs should be paid differently. Because based on the responsibilities and requirements, they should be compensated or paid. Job evaluation partly reflects the values and priorities that management places on various positions. Job analysis and contracts is almost purely descriptive. So this is the difference between job evaluation and job analysis, job descriptions. Universal compensable factors. You are compensating the employee for the skills needed for the job, for the effort he is performing in his job or required to perform, mental and physical efforts. Also, you are compensating the employee for his responsibility is about the money, about people, about production, etc. Also, you compensate employee when he's working in working conditions. What is the environment when he performing his job. Work condition like from the surrounding and also the hazard that he may be faced when he's doing his job duties or performing his job. So the compensable factors are skills or skill, effort, responsibility, and working condition. So job evaluation process steps, we have like 6 steps. First step is to select the technique we are using to determine technique to make the job evaluation. So we should determine, should we use a single versus multiple job evaluation techniques? Should we use only one or multiple? The second step is to choose the job evaluation committee that will make the evaluation. Third step, train employees to conduct job evaluation. The fourth, document the job evaluation plan. The fifth is to communicate with employees. The last step is set up appeals process. Okay, so the first is to select technique. The second will be the choose the job evaluation committee. So human resource professionals help put together a committee of rank and file employees, supervisors, managers, and if relevant union representatives to design, oversee, and evaluate job evaluation results. So the committee usually are from different like sometimes they are, you can select supervisor or manager, or sometimes union representative to be in the committee. Committees simply review job description and analyze and then evaluate jobs. So before they evaluate the job, they will look at the job description and see the duties and requirements, and then they can evaluate or make evaluation for the job, make a grade for the job. Or the job evaluation committees help ensure commitment from employees throughout the company. So this committee decision, its decision will be more or better than if a decision is on the committee. So the discussion there, different point of view, so they can reach or reach the good, the suitable decision about the evaluation of the job. In addition to knowing company objectives, the step for to train employees to conduct job evaluation. In addition to knowing company objectives, evaluators also should practice using the choosing job evaluation criteria before applying them to actual jobs. So the job evaluation criteria or plan should be understood by the people who are making the evaluation. So the evaluator should base their decision on sound job and business related relations to ensure legal agreement. Okay. One step is to document the job evaluation plan. Documenting the job evaluation plan is useful for legal and training purposes. Well-documented plan can allow employees to understand clearly how their jobs were evaluated and the outcome of the process. Well-documented plans provide guidelines for clarifying ambiguities in the event of employee appeals or legal challenges. Communicate with employees. Companies must formally communicate with employees throughout the job analysis and evaluate processes to ensure employees' understanding and acceptance of the job evaluation process and results. Okay. So the last step for job evaluation process is to set up appeals process. Companies set up appeals procedures that permit reviews on a case-by-case basis to provide a check on the process throughout the examination. Such appeals reduce charges of illegal discrimination that would be more likely to occur if the employees were not given a voice. So sometimes maybe the employees has some complaints about the evaluation or the job, evaluation of their job. Maybe they think that it's under evaluated. So they can make an appeal for this committee to also to re-examine the case. Okay. We have also, as we said in the first step in the evaluation process, is to select evaluation techniques. Evaluation techniques, usually we have two types, major types. The first is market-based evaluation. The second is job content evaluation. Market-based evaluation technique uses market data to determine differences in job worth. As we said, in evaluation, we are seeing the worth of the job against other jobs in the company. So many companies choose market-based evaluation methods because they wish to assign job pay rate that are neither too low nor too high relative to the market. So the best here is the market. Like if you have a job like accountant, your evaluation should be based on the market. What is the salary or the compensation for accountant in the market? If you are a bank, you will see other banks how they compensate for their employees or how they evaluate their jobs. Setting pay rate too low will make it difficult to recruit talented candidates, whereas setting pay rates too high will result in excessive cost burden for the employer. So you want to evaluate the job or compensate the job based on the market. If you are making too low pay rate, maybe you cannot attract or recruit talented candidates because the talented candidates are looking for better compensation or better salaries and benefits. And also, whereas setting pay rates too high will result in an excessive cost burden for the employer. Also, if you are putting higher rates, that means your cost and your salaries will be higher than others, and maybe this will be a burden or cost burden for you as employer. So it is an unnecessary burden for you. So in the best market-based evaluation, the base here is the market. You see the market, what the market is paying or compensating the job. Let's say the job of manager, the job of accountant, the job of senior accountant. So based on the market, you are making the evaluation technique. The other technique is job content evaluation. In this technique, the emphasis company internal value system by establishing a hierarchy of internal job worth based on each job role in the company strategy. So here we are the techniques here are emphasize the internal value of the job within the hierarchy. Like the job of manager is worth more than, like, sales manager is more worth for the company than the sales representative. So the sales manager should be compensated with higher salary, higher benefits, because of his job worth, or job worth for the company, or the work is higher than the job of. So here we are looking for the job content. What is the responsibilities for the job? What is the duties? What should the requirement, like requirement for sales representative, maybe a degree in business and 4 years or 3 years experience. While the manager of sales, he should have a bachelor degree in business, and also he should have experience, at least 15 years of experience. So and his responsibilities about the sales is higher than the representative. So logically, he should be paid more than the representative job. Compensation professionals review structures for consistency with the market pay rates on a representative sample of jobs known as benchmark jobs. Usually the companies try to select benchmark jobs so they can measure their compensation with other companies. Some like benchmark jobs, like sometimes maybe if you are in a bank or a financial, you will see the benchmark jobs like accountant. Then you see how much you paid or benefits for accountant, and compare it with other organizations or companies or banks in the market. So what to choose, or how can we choose the evaluation technique? Neither market-based nor job content evaluation approaches alone enable compensation profession to balance internal and external considerations. One technique alone maybe will not be enough. So most companies rely on both approaches, so using both approaches. Okay. So by this we conclude chapter 6 for this lecture, which is mainly try to explain how you or how the organization can build or create internally consistent compensation system, which is very important for the company and for the employees to be fair, and to try to attract and motivate and retain your people. So by this we conclude chapter 6 for this lecture. If you have any questions, I will conduct a session, and I will now sit in LMS so we can interact in this discussion session, and I will use the big blue button software that introduced in LMS. So I will keep you also informed about this discussion sessions. At the end, I would like to thank you and good luck. Goodbye.